Did you know that at this moment you are actually able to jump through the Teo ultimate like this? What the heck? It's possible. Oh my god, I did it. I know, pretty OP, right? I think this isn't supposed to happen though, so it will probably get fixed very soon. But I thought it was a cool one to start the video with. Anyway, welcome to another episode of the Valorant Tips and Tricks Sent by You series. In this series, I show tons of Valorant tips and tricks that you guys send to me. So if you know any cool trickies, don't forget to send them in the Lowlander Discord server. Also, since last video, a lot of people got concerned. In that video, I've said that I've adopted a new kitten named Bobber. But no worries, my friends, this fish is completely safe. Bobber doesn't harm fishies, my friends. Now sit back, relax, and let's start the video. As you probably know by now, the Teo drone isn't able to use zip lines. However, if you cast your drone while aiming up, you are able to place the drone extremely high. So here on Abyss, for example, if you stand close, you don't need to use the zip line. And there are a lot of spots where this is a useful mechanic, like this spot on B, or even cooler, if you stand next to the wall on Ascent, you can actually use your drone and it will look through the window in B main. Just make sure that you activate it in time, and you might spot a lot of enemies and can even wallbang behind it. And let's move on with another Teo mechanic that every player should know. Because there's something strange about this missiles. If you use your guided salvo to a high spot and enemies are standing underneath it, then the enemies underneath will always take damage. You see this in the background, I used the rockets in heaven and I got damaged underneath it. However, now the strange part, if you use your guided salvo on the ground and the enemies are standing above it, then they won't always take damage. And this is because there's a limited blast radius above this ability. And like you see in the background, even though I'm standing in the circle, I don't take damage if I stand in heaven. So a tip about this ability, always try to use it as high as possible for a higher chance to do some damage. Now take a look at this clip and tell me if you notice something.
Enemy down.
If you didn't see the enemy over there, no worries, I also didn't see him at all. But let's slow this clip down and zoom in a little bit. Apparently, if you stand all the way on the backside of A, you are able to look over the boxes and spot enemies standing in cubby. You just see a few pixels. I had no idea this was a thing and you need to have really good eyes for this. But if you do get a kill like this, the enemies will certainly be tilted. Also, fun fact, the pixels from the spot are so small that you won't even see the enemy's icon on the minimap. What do you say? Your eyes are too bad to see those pixels because you don't eat enough carrots? Then no worries, my friends, for this next trick you don't need to have good eyes at all. The only thing you need are 2 flashes and a little bit of courage. Look at this round.
Spike down, C. A.
Well played, Armin. Let's now move on with the pretty strange clove mechanic. If you use your decay on an enemy or yourself and this player got normal armor, your armor will go to 1 and after that your health will go lower. However, things are a little bit different if you got regen armor. When you have that, your armor doesn't go down but only your health goes down. Cool information, MrLowlander, but what can we do with it? Well, my friends, the answer to that is absolutely nothing. At least I couldn't find a use for it. It's just a cool thing that happens. I guess it's to prevent the regen armor to activate when you're decayed. Luckily, this next mechanic is a bit more useful to know, and for it we need to look at this clip.
Clip A.
Too suppressed.
Okay, what happened here? Let's break it down. It looked like the Teo drone cancelled the Yoru ultimate. This interaction is definitely worth testing, so I did some tests and here's what I found out. First of all, if Yoru is fully in his ultimate and you then activate the spider, you won't suppress Yoru. This makes sense, it would be way too broken like this. However, if Yoru does his ultimate, he will do a small animation. He will put his mask on, you know? And the thing is that if you activate your spider when Yoru does this animation, then you will suppress Yoru and he won't be invisible. A pretty cool mechanic, so Teo mains, make sure to activate that spider when you see Yoru putting on that mask. And while we're talking about Teo, let's do another Teo trick. It's about a specific combo that we've probably all seen coming. Of course, I'm talking about the combination between his ult and the Breach ultimate. These two ultimates are just like 2 puzzle pieces fitting together perfectly, and when you use it in the game it will look like this.
1 enemy remaining.
There's one big tip I need to give about this one though. If you want to use this combo, it's important to know that the direction of your Teo ultimate is important. You want to use your ultimate to watch the Breach ultimate so they meet each other in the middle. By doing this, the enemies will have nowhere to run, and that's why this combo is so good. And since we're talking about the Teo ultimate, a thing you need to keep in mind is that the direction is actually always very important if you use this ulti. Take here on Lotus as an example. If the enemies are standing in middle and you use your ultimate from side towards their spawn, you basically force the enemies that are standing there to run away. However, if you use your ultimate from their spawn to the side, then you force the enemies to push to side. There's a big difference between these two. With the second option, you put way more pressure on the enemies, and that's how Chit got a lot of kills over here.
This is how we end. Ammunition.
Oh, ace!
Yes.
Good job, good job.
Well played, my friend. And let's do one last Theo ultimate tricky. I know we talk a lot about Theo in this video, but I mean it's the new agent. Lots of things to talk about. A cool strategy that you can use with this ultimate is use your ultimate, leave a small gap somewhere, for example over here on Haven, and after you cast your ultimate, wait 2 seconds, and then use your missiles to that small gap. It's the same idea as a Killjoy ultimate with Swarm Grenade combo, only then the Theo ultimate with missile combo. Okay, let's now move on with the strange mechanic again. A while ago, someone submitted this clip and pay close attention to it.
Yes,
You also saw that, right? The gun of the enemy was clipping through that wall. And I wanted to know if this was a one-time glitch or that it's happening more often. So I hopped into Fracture, let my enemy do a lot of movements behind this wall. And the result, absolutely nothing until I saw this small pixel over here. I know, it's only one small pixel that went through the wall. But this actually proves that there's something wrong with this wall. So be careful with standing too close or the enemies might spot your gun. Now let's move on with some jet mechanics. Did you know that if you jump and use your passive ability, you are actually able to start defusing the spike before you hit the ground. This could be very useful to fake the enemies out, because if you use this trick, the enemies will hear the peep peep and after that hear you landing. This might confuse the enemies, making them think that you actually walked after you tapped the spike, but in fact you're just defusing, an easy ninja for you. Also, Kaikoon, you won this video's battle pass, congrats my friend. Another thing you need to know about Jet is that if Astra uses her ultimate, the enemies on the other side of the ulti won't be able to hear your updraft. Just take a listen. You hear absolutely nothing. This makes flying through the Astra ultimate with your updraft and your ulti a pretty good strategy to surprise the enemies. Just look at this clip.
Last player standing.
Oops.
And let's do one more jet mechanic. Did you know that this super dash is still in the game?
Down.
Those were some nice jet kills, my friend. And about nice kills, I think it's time to take a small break from the tricks and go to my favorite part of the series, the trick shots. Let me know which one is your favorite. First, a 360 mid-air headshot. Wait. I was way too casual over there. I mean, a 360 mid-air headshot, boom! It's actually a very impressive clip. Next up, we have a very lucky Marshall shot. Someone used this neon trick, apparently it's still in the game. Then we have a ghoul rolled attack helicopter. And honestly, for this next clip...
Chill. Oh, fuck.
Last player standing.
I think it's more impressive that you didn't get the kill over here. How did all those shots miss? What happened? Back to the tricks. Did you know this about the ISO ultimate? If you shot with a lot of bullets during the round and you don't got a lot of bullets left, when you get into an ISO ultimate and you win the battle, you gain all your bullets back. Not just the current mag that's in your rifle, but literally all the mags. At first, this might not look that important, but if you take this round over here, I don't think Reyna could have killed Viper if she didn't get the bullets from the ult.
It's you and me.
One enemy remaining.
Actually, now that I look at it again, she probably could have gotten the kill with only 9 bullets, but still it's a cool mechanic to know. And about the ISO ultimate, another thing you need to know is that if you stand with too many players on the spawn point of ISO, he won't get spawned on his point, but a little more to the side. So be careful if you want to knife him with a lot of teammates or this might happen.
Please, 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 please let me have it, please.
Last player.
I think someone got scared over there. Next tricky. One of the most underrated combos in Valorant is Sage X Jet. Why is this combo so good? Well, if you place your Sage wall very high and after that let Jet fly on top of that wall, you can get to such crazy angles, my friends. And here are a few examples. The first one is over here on Bind. No way that an enemy will expect you over here. Then we have this example on Pearl. A tippy, if you want to place this wall, just take a look at the minimap and you can see when it extends towards elbow. And let's do one more. This one is my favorite. If you use your wall over here on Haven, your teammate Jet will actually get so high that he won't get hit by the Breach ultimate. A perfect way to counter Breach if you notice that his ulti is ready.
Like, kinda ruins your whole point now.
Off your feet!
Grounded.
Wait, you can dodge the...
Next tricky, let's talk about the interaction between the barrier and the sage wall. As you see in the background, the deadlock barrier is stronger than the sage wall, so if you use your sage wall on the barrier, the wall will get destroyed. However, it doesn't get destroyed until it's fully grown first. This means that even though the barrier does destroy the sage wall, you can still use your wall to boost yourself over the barrier. Could be handy in some situations. Another cool thing about the deadlock barrier that you might not know is that usually the Fate Prowler doesn't break the barrier. However, if the Prowler of Fate did spot an enemy first, then it will break the deadlock barrier. It might take a while, but look at this, the barrier is kadook. Now let's go to Sunset for something I said in last episode. In that episode I said that you could jump on this lamp with Omen. Luckily this glitch got fixed, however, strangely enough it's still possible with other agents like a Jet or a Raze. I mean, luckily this map isn't in competitive rotation anymore, but this will probably mean that this glitch will stay in the game for pretty long. Okay, now take a look at this clip and tell me if this is smart or this is stupid.
Enemy remaining.
Okay, at first glance, this might look stupid, right? This Omen is just teleporting into 3 enemies. But if you look closer, you might notice that Omen was in his E ability, Sofa was in his drone, and Phoenix wasn't there because he was ultimating. So if you really think about it, this was actually a big brain play. So a tip for everyone, if you use your Omen ultimate, always look a little bit closer. And when you notice that all the enemies are distracted, go for the teleport. And let's stay on Split to talk about one thing that always happens if you play on this map with the Sage. And that's that if you push B, this will get walled. It's a very good wall, right? But there's a way to counter it. If you play Neon, you can actually jump on these boxes and from there you can reach all the way to the wall. It's a little bit of a risky strat, but you might catch the enemies off guard just like Dennis did. And while we're talking about sage walls, here are some sage walls that I would definitely recommend using. Some of these you might already know, but they are too good not to show. If you place your wall on this box, you can jump with Jet over here and look all the way to heaven. This is actually such a good wall, but it doesn't get used a lot. Look at this.
Sorry, you should plant when you...
Then we have this wall on Lotus, very simple from the defender spawn, and you can look at 3.
Good attack. Spike planted.
And to finish it up, a situational but cool wall. If you notice that the enemies are pushing a lot, maybe going for the orb, you can place your wall over here on the attacker spawn and camp that orb from an angle that the enemies definitely not suspect.
Eliminate.
And this, my friends, this was the last trick of the video. Big shout out to everyone who submitted something. I hope you learned something new and I see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.